Hello, people from around the world, OCB community. As some of you probably may know, I am Sebastián Castro. I am transmitting live on the first ever OCB Instagram Live all the way from Costa Rica, where it is a cloudy but beautiful, fresh day. I'm going to be joined by my dear friend Teddy any moment now. So we're going to give it a few minutes just to set up everything and let you guys start joining. And hopefully we'll be sharing some memorable moments of our trip and the behind the scenes of filming Follow the River, this amazing documentary that I'm so proud to have been a part of. So I'm going to invite my friend Teddy from Seedballs Kenya right now. There it is. I understand this is the first time Teddy has done this, so we'll see how the how the digital operation from Costa Rica to Kenya goes. Oh my God, 200 people. This is so exciting. Greetings from Poland, Brazil. People asking pretty predictable questions about OCV, Colombia, Santi, Matias, Brazil. Saludos a mis amigos de Brasil, Argentina. Ha. This is awesome. This is awesome. Just rolled an OCV here. Where's my ticos at? Oh my God, I see people from Sweden, Ireland. I love how international this community is. UK, friends in London. This is wonderful. Mexico. So exciting. Finalmente una tica. All right, so Teddy's having some problems trying to join. I'm going to give him another shot. Internet in Kenya is known to be a bit spotty, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's having a bit of trouble. But in the meantime, I wanted to tell you that, as some of you may know, Mara Follow the River, as the final documentary. Oh, there he is. Oh my God, he made it.
Yeah, hey.
Just keep it vertical. I think it'll work better. There you go. Teddy!
Right,
Oh my God. I
hey,
missed your face.
Sebastián.
What's up, dude?
Good, man. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing amazing. It's good to see you. I have missed hanging out with you. Tell me where you are.
I just got back into the office. This is our office. This is where Seedballs happens. One of the slingshots we're shooting with Seedballs. I've been out in the field all day. I was actually very lucky with traffic and managed to get back like 5 minutes to spare. So yeah, I just plugged the phone in and jumped on the live chat to say what's up to all of you guys. Hi, everybody. Jambo.
Dude, Jambo, man. There's people from Brazil, Ireland, everywhere. It's been awesome how engaging they've been, sending flags from all around. But yeah, man, I'm so happy. I was wondering if you could give us a brief tour of the HQ of Seedballs. I know it brings back some good memories for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is our office. The entire office is actually built out of trees that I planted as a kid. So before Seedballs, but still, it's our own trees from our own backyard. So all of the wooden walls and stuff, you can see this is all homegrown from the backyard. And then we have a whole bunch of like the information about what types of trees we plant and where they grow and which ones people want to plant and grow in different areas. And then for a lot of customers, what people do that's really awesome is they got little branded seed ball packets. So like OCB's even done some. A lot of the camps and lodges and stuff, people do them for like weddings and birthdays. And then we have some examples of how people plant seed balls around Kenya, some from the air, some from just going hiking with their friends and stuff. So that's really fun because then you get to explain to people, there are 1,001 ways of growing a seed ball. These are actually seeds. You can sort of see them in there. These are now the bare acacia seeds. So each time we buy them, they get a batch number so you can track it and stuff, and every different species. So these are what we now make into, where is it? The seed balls.
Sweet. Well,
yeah,
man, you have to tell me the story and share it with the community about the first time you got the email from OCB and how you reacted, because it seemed a bit incredulous, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like I don't even think I'd sort of heard of OCB, I think, but then, you know, I suppose it's probably from like music videos or something, and thinking like, you know, rolling papers, I guess. So I saw the email come in, and I thought, you know, wait a minute, is this the right thing? You know, you get so many crazy spam messages about your uncle who's inherited $1 million and stuff. So I was thinking, you know, wait a minute, who are these guys? So wrote back and then actually Googled it, I think, and then thought, wait a minute, this is actually the rolling paper company. Why is there any connection with, you know, why are they even interested in planting trees in Kenya, of all places? They're from France. So once we got back in touch, and I wrote back being polite, just out of interest and stuff to see, and then Gabby from the production company who organized doing all of these videos and stuff for us was, you know, explained, wait, the connection is actually because of this amazing stuff. So I've actually got some here from our first OCB trip. This is like a humongous piece of gum arabic. So this is the stuff that gets collected in northern Kenya and then ends up in a very roundabout way coming off of this particular tree right here. This is the acacia Senegal. I don't know if it's in reverse for you. But anyway, so that's the tree that all of the rolling papers, that's what makes them stick together. That's sort of, as they say, that's what holds it all together. And so this gum, you know, suddenly that connection to me made loads of sense, because I was like, of course, if they use this gum for the rolling papers, we are reforesting Kenya with this one of many type of trees, is this acacia Senegal. Sadly, in many places, the problem is acacia Senegal, they get cut down either for firewood or making into charcoal, or as everyone remembers, I'm sure you remember, Sebastian, they've got crazy wicked thorns. So people use them for fencing, so they cut branches off and stuff. So anyway, we'd been planting those, and then that made perfect sense, because OCB is using this gum arabic for their papers, and that, you know, of course, it makes good sense to invest in growing more of them, not only for the gum, but also all the environmental side of tree planting.
Of course, and I'm sure many of the people that are writing in the comments have very recently tasted some of that gum arabic in their tongue. I have my dog here who's definitely asking for a little roly. I mean, it's been such a fun collaboration, and I know that OCB has made a huge effort into really putting environmentalism at the forefront, not only of their mission, but of the industry. And I remember traveling around the country with you and planting some of these seeds, and you told me that they have flourished, right? That you went back to some of these places, some of these communities, and there's trees where there used to be seeds.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, it's so cool because, I mean, here we are in technology, but even locally, you know, almost every sort of Monday, you wake up and you get all these cool WhatsApp messages from different parts of the country where people are like, look, these trees that I planted, here they are coming up. And a lot of those, so OCB actually bought about 200,000 seed balls. We used some of them when we were filming. All of the ones that were left over, we'd been giving out to now, like, you know, community-based groups, small schools, people who go hiking and stuff. And so they're giving back feedback and saying, you know, thanks so much for this introduction to seed balls. And here's this small tree that's coming up from them. So yeah, it's absolutely so cool. And that's only in, how long? 2 years now that we've been doing this, you know?
Man, I remember seeing the photos and just walking around your neighborhood, and everybody was so proud of their little trees.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they are little, but they're certainly vicious too. At least the acacia Senegal, I remember trying to, getting stung by one, or just trying to take a photo with this amazing chameleon. But things have been kind of getting bigger and bigger for you. It's so exciting. What is at the forefront of Seedballs, Kenya Seedballs', you know, next mission?
Yeah,
well, I mean, what's your ambition, rather?
Yeah, I guess it's, you know, so many different steps. Like on one side, there's the short term, you know, the rains have just started, so we're so busy right now. And it's raining all over the country and people are keen on planting. On the long steps, you're thinking about how do we, you know, improve our Google mapping so that in 2055, when we're all old, you know, someone could go back and actually track down, that's where Sebastian was flying in an airplane and drop some seed balls, and that's the tree that, and you know, because that's the thing with trees, they take, you know, they live for so many years, it's almost a thing you're handing to another generation. And so working on all of that follow-up and digitizing it, you know, so that can hopefully stay on record for longer. I mean, who knows what the next crazy inventions are going to be, right? But if, you know, Instagram's still around in 30 years from now, I hope it is, I guess. You know, it'll be so cool to go back and see some of these different things and places we've been, and those, you know, repeat photographs of landscapes like 10, 20 years apart, when you can see the same hill in the background and then see the change. Yeah. And to think, you know, we've been part of making a small positive change somewhere.
Absolutely. And I mean, it seems that it's such a revolutionary technology, right? I remember discussing with you the economics behind this, and a little bit about, you know, the cost per tree planted in the world is drastically different if you do so through seed balls or if you do so through regular seeding. So can you explain the difference to the community a bit in terms of cost?
Yeah, so before we started thinking about doing seed balls, we were doing the regular tree planting, where, you know, you got a small seedling in a plastic bag and dig a hole and then pour water on it. And, you know, we're still all for that. That's a great, you know, it's great. It's a good way of getting people engaged. And, you know, however you're going to plant trees, plant more trees in the right place, the right types of trees. It's the most important thing. The thing for us, though, is we realize that doing that type of planting on scale becomes really expensive. You know, it's one thing to dig 4 holes in your backyard. It's another thing to how do you mobilize resources to get, you know, to 500 kilometers away on the other side of the country where trees have been cut down for charcoal that's coming to Nairobi city anyway. How do you go back and replant some of those type of areas? And the biggest thing as we started seeing was just the cost of logistics. And then, of course, the cost of these little seedlings in plastic bags, because, you know, they have to stay in a nursery for 6 months, have to be watered, which, you know, it's fine depending on what type of trees you're planting and everything. The thing is, we're big believers, give people lots of options, lots of tools to, you know, help restore our environment. So the seed ball economics have worked out really interestingly because, of course, seeds are cheap and making the seed balls are only a penny each. And one thing that's so great with them is that depending on how you plant them, you can get, you know, up to 40, 50, 60% survival rate. And that brings down the cost of planting a tree. If you try, you know, you calculate in the distribution, the transportation, the labor cost, you know, to less than a nickel a piece, less than 5 cents. And, you know, doing that on a huge scale, on one end, has a cool economic sort of prospect to it. But the biggest thing we've seen that's so cool is it has this social side to it. And just the amount of fun people have planting seed balls in all the different ways, compared to, like, when I was in school as a kid, tree planting was actually punishment. You had to, like, weed the trees or carry buckets of water. You know, that sort of always left a sort of bad taste for so many people that, you know, the tree planting should be fun. It shouldn't be something you don't want to do. And so the fun thing with seed balls is so cool to see how many students have, you know, made, like, there's a group here that's made bottles, old water bottles that sit on the back of a camel, and when the camel's walking around, the seed balls drop out one at a time, you know. So I mean, crazy ideas like that. It's so fun.
That's awesome, dude. I love the ingenuity of some people. I mean, I remember throwing seed balls from donkeys, from slingshots.
Yeah.
I know them. It's somebody's asking here, Max Ilion, what kind of nutritional binder do you use for the charcoal? And I don't know exactly what he or she means specifically, but most of the charcoal is actually taken from charcoal deposits, right, to use it.
Yeah, well, so what happens is wherever they sell the charcoal in the city, in Nairobi, there's a lot of waste and all the dust, because when they unload it from the truck and stuff, everything that's left on the ground. So we actually clean up and go and buy that from the guys who sell charcoal in the cities, and then use that, and we mix it with the binders. You know, there's still actually a little bit of a secret, but one ingredient is actually liquid smoke, wood vinegar, which is very cool because it has this smoky effect. Yeah. Anyway, it does help stimulate germination for things in the wild.
Don't share it,
but yeah,
Instagram live.
Yeah, the thing is though, with the seed balls, it's completely
won't actually remember much. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. From it. The thing is though, we always advise everyone, like, what works for us in Kenya might not work for you in Costa Rica. So the biggest thing is to figure out what is your local available material, as long as it's non-toxic, hopefully reasonably cheap, natural. You know, at the end of the day, it's mimicking how things grow in nature. And the whole sort of secret behind the seed ball is hiding the seed from any mice or birds that otherwise would eat it. So when we get people who ask from all over the world, you know, how do I make seed balls, or send me some seed balls, we always tell them the first thing is you have to go walk around, like, you know, your forests, your hills, wherever you live, and start seeing what are the local types of trees, because you don't want to grow a Costa Rican tree in Kenya and a Kenyan tree in Costa Rica. I mean, we can go and visit, but for plants, you don't want to do that. It causes invasive problems, all these things. So the biggest thing is you have to just think local and just look around you, and, you know, as OCB says it best, be inspired by nature and see how is it working in nature and how can you copy that.
Be inspired by nature. That's something that certainly happened to me in Kenya, and one of the organizations that stood out was the Mara Elephant Project. How did that relationship come about, and how are they doing with the pandemic and struggling resources? I remember the last time we spoke, they were certainly not feeling fully funded and feeling a bit at risk and vulnerable. How has that evolved?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's such a big problem for so many places that, you know, one thing that's helping to pay for keeping this incredible natural beauty, you know, wild elephants and all of the biodiversity down to the fleas that live on the elephant, you know, the entire ecosystem, is tourism. And since that stopped with Corona, and, you know, it's so uncertain and people haven't been able to travel for so long and stuff, and be able to support this industry that directly pays for not only saving thousands of species of animals and birds, but helping thousands and tens of thousands of people have work. And, you know, for groups like My Elephant Project, who are non-profits, you know, they're relying on donations. They're hoping when someone comes and gets that incredible mind-blowing experience of seeing elephants in the Mara, you know, they're able to maybe help their company or their family channel a little bit to help protect these things and their habitats. So I'm sure, you know, everyone could always have more help. And when it comes to, especially wildlife and biodiversity and stuff, you think of the money that goes into, you know, just generating anything, right? Making tennis shoes or Bitcoin or whatever it is, versus how much actual dollars at the end of the day go down to protecting something, you know, as unique as a cheetah, you know, and there are only, you know, a couple hundred of these things left in the whole world, and are they going to die on our watch just because, you know, people aren't able to help them or willing enough to help them as needed? Luckily, I mean, guys like Mara Elephant Project, they're so dedicated, you know, people are able to do that extra mile. When you work and you see, you know, this incredible ecosystem and wildlife and these connections being so threatened, I think once you're in that type of work, you're 24/7, you know, and you have to just end up with the extra mile all the time. And I don't have a hat on, but if I did, I'd take it off to them 100 times. They do some of the best work in the whole country. And not only with just direct conservation, arresting, you know, poachers who are killing elephants for ivory, but all the way down to helping farmers who elephants are breaking into their farms and eating their maize and pumpkins and bananas. And, you know, you could just imagine being a smallholder farmer with 1 acre to feed your family. If an elephant eats half of it, you know, what do you do? So groups like My Elephant Program are amazing because they're using a really strong science-based approach to tackle both sides of these issues that are happening in one-of-a-kind places in the whole world. There's nowhere, as you've seen, there's nowhere else like the Masai Mara, you know?
Well, absolutely. There's a funny anecdote too. Well, not funny in retrospect, but we were supposed to fly and drop some of the seed balls from a helicopter, but the helicopter actually crashed. Nobody was hurt, thankfully, the day before.
Yeah.
And we were able to continue the process with another helicopter. But I mean, somebody's asking here that how many seed balls did we actually spread? Keko Aznar, I assume from Spain or Catalunya, was asking about this. Do you have the exact number of how many seed balls perhaps we spread during the filming, and how many did OCB donate?
Yeah, during the filming we spread about 100 kilos, so just over 50,000 seed balls. That was in the Mau forest with that group of people who we went walking down into the valley with. planting those olive trees along the river. Just to clarify from anyone from the Mediterranean, they're not those type of olives, they're the African olives. And then the rest that we planted when we visited, the wild shamba, those group of ladies who are doing organic farming. Then from the helicopter, from the balloon, and then the final ones that we planted at Lake Victoria. So that was about 50,000 in total. And so on average, from what we've seen over the years, we'll probably get between 10% and 20%. So 10,000 seed balls, trees. And the real kicker and the key thing is with all of those is that's now a mature tree that's able to start producing seeds again naturally. So that whole system of how trees and plants can grow in some of these areas now start being beefed up a little bit. OCB donated then in total, I guess, another 400 kilos, which if you go through our Instagram account, you'll see loads and loads of different people all over the country. So most of our business is the business of selling seed balls. But of course, there's so many people who maybe have never heard of them or just want to sample or have, work with an orphanage or someone who really needs it. So it's been wonderful that these seed balls from OCB were able to actually send out to, people as we see fit. And, a group of young guys going hiking or cycling, it's so cool that they're able to take tree seeds with them and plant them as they go around.
But I mean, one of the things that stands out to me is that interaction between people and the process of planting, right? I always say that in order to protect nature, you first have to experience it. You first have to be inspired by it, as OCB says. So certainly the process of seeing and planting a tree and then seeing it grow is one of those kind of like very simple but miraculous things that ultimately make things click in your mind and hopefully make you want to protect and become some sort of activist around it. I mean, I wanted to show you one of my favorite tree in the world is the tree that I grew up under. It's called a guapinol. It's an ancient endemic tree from Costa Rica, and I planted it for my wedding.
Oh, really? Cool.
Look how big it's gotten. Well, not huge. I mean, this is a 3-year-old tree. It grows pretty slowly, but this will become a massive specimen one day. Hopefully, we're looking for a place to plant it, and maybe I'll put my old empty pack of OCB as recycled soil into it, and it'll be a symbolic gesture into my replanting. But man, yeah.
And then here's outside of our place. This is a little store, as you remember. Mm-hmm. And then here, I'll show you a couple of our trees. So these are actually some of the seed ball trees that are coming up and doing really well at the moment.
That's sweet. Don't get
yes. This one says Banya Sesban. No, this one doesn't have thorns, luckily. Okay. But then you got one like this guy, and you can see. The thing is, if you live in a place that's covered with elephants and camels and all sorts of things that want to eat you, you better grow some thorns, because otherwise life's going to be pretty tough.
Absolutely, man. In Africa especially, you need some thorns. So as you can tell as well, I have this ridiculous hair. I don't know, maybe you should do it too, man.
I don't know.
Purple, not longer. Starting at
I don't even know what color it is. Gotten to that age group where I might refuse. I don't know if I have the same genes as you do.
Or a mouth. Dude, so many people have joined this live. It's been awesome. I want to thank you for your time. I mean, Seedballs has been such a great inspiration for us at OCB. I've learned so much about the process of reforesting in Kenya and kind of about the fragility of the water sources, especially how the entire imagination we've created around Africa and the wild plains of Africa depends ultimately in a few rivers, one of them being the Mara River. So I encourage anybody who's watching to go to the OCB channel right now and check out Mara, Follow the River. It's a documentary that is short, sweet, and to the point, and that we put so much love into it. And it tells the story about Teddy, it tells the story about Mara Elephant Project, and especially tells the story about this wonderful river that gave birth from everything from the David Attenborough documentaries that you probably watch after consuming OCB, all the way to The Lion King you did as a child. So go ahead and watch it. And I mean,
Thank you so much, buddy. I miss you. You're invited to Costa Rica. Remember, you have a home here. Whenever the pandemic slows down a bit, you can come over. We can go plant some trees. And I look forward to being back in Kenya sometime soon or going on another adventure with you. Yeah, maybe it seems that we've dropped Teddy to Teddy. He did amazingly for this being his first time live. And to all of you who watched, thank you. Thank you so much. Feel free to send your questions over through direct message, and we'll be in contact soon. Hopefully, you'll keep consuming original OCB papers. As you know, the little gum that you need to glue papers together comes all the way from Acacia senegalis trees in the desert of Kenya. So we're doing our best to protect that source of raw material. Thank you, guys. It's been absolutely awesome to share this time with you. And I look forward to doing more lives and doing more documentaries. Ciao from Costa Rica, pura vida, and I'll see you next time around.